Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, chapter 186. When we lost our heroes, Elsie was right about to be killed by Ziggy, and then Justice came in out of nowhere and saved her with a sort of like cliche, the only one who can kill you is me kind of thing, but it worked, Elsie's alive, and Ziggy requests Noella to go out and deal with them, and she agrees, but not before threatening Ziggy a little bit. Meanwhile, the gang on the Eden Zero and the ex-Draken gang, still in their fighter jets, approach Dead End Crow, and that fight's about to start. Then we have some etchy mishaps with Team Shiki, specifically with Rebecca, but that's quickly brushed aside as they continue on their journey to the core, where they find this sort of, decaying like Colosseum, and there they encounter the Dark Stars. And that's where we left off. So with all that said, let's dive right on in chapter 186, the Subdimension Program. And our picture here is this adorable little picture of, like, Shiki when he was a little boy, and Michael, like, teaching him how to repair bots, even if he never, like, actually did any real repairs, still being, like, taught by Michael. It's really cute. But we pick up right where we left off, with the gang staring down the Dark Stars. And we see Wizard and Brigandine and Killer and Clown, I believe in that order if I'm not mistaken, just staring just getting ready for the battle. And then Weisz, Homura, Rebecca, and Shiki also staring them down. And Pino tells everyone, the Demon King's 4 Dark Stars, successors to the 4 Shining Stars, now analyzing their battle abilities. They surpass the Shining Stars in performance and numerical statistics. But Happy just declares, but we're not going to lose to a bunch of jerks with no hearts. And Wizard just questions, hearts? And Homura chimes in, if you had hearts, those hearts would be pained at the thought of hurting innocent people. I mean, I think, so what this line is bringing back to me is the very first scene in the series, where Shiki and Ziggy and Michael have that conversation about how everyone, including androids, have hearts. And I'm wondering if the Ziggy with his memories back will either, argue that he does have a heart still, is just opposed to what the humans want, or if it's like he's completely turned and no, he doesn't have a heart, and the heart is a sign of weakness or something. And Killer sort of muses, hearts. And Clown laughs, well, you could say we don't have hearts, but you could say that we do. And then Brigandine chimes in, we fight for the good of all mechanical life forms. That is our heart. And Rebecca then sort of retorts, that's not really a heart. And Weisz then says, it's a program. You have to follow Ziggy's orders. And Wizard just sort of looks down, kind of ignoring that. And Shiki says, and I'm going to set you all free. Which is an interesting concept, because we saw back on that first planet they went to post-time skip, where we open with the new era, that, like, Shiki didn't fight back against the civilians of that planet because they were brainwashed, but he did fight back against the Skull Army because they chose their path. But now here he's saying he's going to set them free from a program. Also, the idea that they don't have hearts, while, like, Pino and Happy and the Shining Stars do, is kind of a weird concept. I don't know. It's a weird thing here. Wizard then says, set us free. A fine phrase. We use it often when addressing humans. We destroy their flesh and set them free from the miseries of life. And Killer starts doing some kind of code manipulation. And Homer, like, readies her blade. Here they come. But there's something happening. We see happening with Shiki and Rebecca. What's happening? And it's also happening to Pino and Weisz. And Pino announces, a landscape plugin? They're creating a new dimension? Whoa. Which I'm guessing is where the Subdimension Program, that's our chapter's title, comes from. But then Weisz all of a sudden is in this sort of ruined hallway. And I'm wondering, complete shot in the dark here, it's been too long since I read Belial Gore, is this the hospital where his mom died? Is this going to be like live through your worst memories or something. Because this might be like a sci-fi hospital. And knowing that Weisz is very poor as a child, I doubt he could, like, afford a nice hospital for his mom. But either way, Weisz looks around. What the? Where did everybody go? Blazes, my comm's not working. And then Killer warps in behind him. The subdimension program. And Weisz hears him and instantly turns around and aims his gun. And Killer throws off his cloak, revealing the sort of, mechanical body he's got on, which seems to have a tail, I think. We've created unique backdrops in which to kill each of you individually. I am Killer, the brain of Edens, and I will be killing you. And they've also kept the X of Edens concept, which... Are they meant to be, I'm trying to remember, is Hermit's considered the mind of Edens? Which I was wondering if, like, they're going to have a sort of, each of the dark stars share an epithet with one of the shining stars. And as far as Hermit and Killer are concerned, there's at least a similarity. Like, one is mind and one is brain, which aren't terribly different, but they aren't the same thing. We'll see if anything like that keeps up with the others. But Weisz is ready as his gun. The brain, you don't look to be very strong in that department. I'm the flame of Edens. I'm going to use my heavy artillery to turn you to cinders. So also apparently, I guess the non-shining stars have also picked up their own epithets. Because the flame of Edens is new. I think Jean used, like, the wind of Edens in his fight with Callum back in the Owie War. But Weisz being the flame is a new thing. And then Rebecca awakens in this... So first she looks around, what the heck just happened? And then she suddenly loses... She stops floating and she falls. And there's this rope she grabs onto. She seems to be in some kind of circus. Is this where she fought Lyra? Because when I first had the idea of is that hallway where Weisz's mom died, the hospital where Weisz's mom died, I thought maybe we might get, like, finally some answers as to who Rebecca is. Because, there's still all these, like, lingering questions around Rebecca. It's never really been the point of any arc, but are still distinctly there. And I don't know. Unless she was a circus performer as a baby, I doubt it. She's fighting Clown. Hence the circus. This is more of Clown space. Because we see Rebecca, Happy and Pino in a chain, in like a cage, a bird cage attached to the rope. Rebecca, and she sees them. Happy, Pino, and then we see a particular pair of feet on the rope. What's a circus without an audience? Am I right? And then the lights flash. One light shining on Rebecca and one on Clown. Now let the greatest show from hell begin. And then we cut to Shiki in a forest. And he looks around, where am I? And his opponent, who, I'm not sure who it is, don't you remember? Take a good look around. This is the land of... and Shiki looks back and sees him surprised. This is the land of swords, magic, and dreams. The kingdom of Granbell. And we get this overhead shot. And I know why the cover had a baby Shiki and Michael... Because the figure continues, you're home. Hello, Shiki. And that's Michael. That's a vision of Michael, implanted by the subdimension program, of course, but still. And Shiki just flashes back to all the times he spent with him. Michael. And then we cut back to the arena. Where Homura has actually not gone anywhere. She's still in the arena. Where are the others? 3 of the Dark Stars have disappeared as well. And a brigandine approaches her. They enjoy fighting in alternate dimensions. But not I. I find this arena to be the place most suited to battle. And Homura yells at him, bring them back! There is nothing to bring back. They are here. We just cannot interact with them. And Homura just growls at him. Grr, I haven't the slightest idea what any of that means. And Brigandine sort of agrees. I too dislike these difficult concepts. And then Brigandine gets ready to fight. There's like this rumbling sound. O human who has nevertheless become one of the 4 shining stars. I am counterpart to Valkyrie. What did I tell you back with Killer? I am the armor of Edens, Brigandine, and you will be facing me. Though armor and sword are kind of like they're similar concepts, but they're also kind of contrasts. Offense and defense, whereas mind and brain are very similar. And we didn't get to hear either wizard or clown's epithet. Of course, clown hasn't even really been found yet. But still, Homura stares him down, the counterpart to Valkyrie. Also, of course, Homura is the one fighting the counterpart to Valkyrie. That just makes sense from a thematic standpoint. And Brigandine goes on, this is a battle arena. Let us cross swords. And then we leave them to go check in on the Eden Zero, approaching Crow. Crow eyes them. This is the Eden Zero, and it's supposed to be equal to the 1. And he shoots, eye beams, laser beams from his eyes. Doesn't look like it to me, but the Eden Zero dodges, thanks, of course, to Connor's piloting skills. And Connor declares, fire! And the Eden Zero starts shooting at it. We see Jean, Clean, and Laguna doing like a strafe run across Crow. Crow just grins and takes it. As Laguna comments, our starfighters Vulcans don't even scratch him. And Sister comments, the Zero's guns aren't phasing him either. And Connor declares, we best be making an opening to fire the main cannon. Which I guess would do more than the little guns they've been using. And Hermit checks in, Holy, are you ready? And Holy tells her, yes, I'm all set. But your ship's battle suits, you don't think they're too exposed in the chest area? And I haven't really brought this up, but it is a thing that all the women's battle suits have this heart-shaped boob window, which is, it's a choice. It's a choice. But Holy just snaps back, it's better than what you normally wear. I fine-tuned the OS just for you, launching the Steel Sorceress 94. And we see it, and that night gear is distinctly witch-inspired. Much like, what was Homura's? The Iron Maiden 95, I think? Or the Warrior Maiden 95, I think. It was clearly based off of Valkyrie. This is distinctly witch. But then we cut back to Shiki. I sort of figured the rest of the chapter would be setting up the Crow fight. But this is Shiki's time now. As Michael looks at him, hey, it's good to see you again, Shiki. And Shiki just starts sweating. It's unclear if he's going to turn into a crying mess, so happy to see Michael again, or if we'll get confused because Michael's dead, or angry at Wizard for besmirching his memory. But Michael goes on with a little blush below his eyes. You've really grown. And it looks like it's going to be the angry route, because Shiki says, you're not Michael. And Michael looks at him confused. Stop your stupid games and show yourself. And all the Granbell bots come behind him. What's gotten into you, Shiki? Why the scary face? Oh dear, is he at that rebellious phase? And Shiki's just shaking there. As the baker robot tells him, here, have some of my bread while you're here. But Shiki just goes on, this is an illusion. It's not them, they're gone. And the king approaches. True, we did all die. However, in a virtual space, one can live for eternity, especially machines. We can take all of our memories with us. So are they simultaneously created by the Subdimension program, but also on some level, they still have all the same memories of them? Oh, but hold on. The next line is Lord Demon King. And there's not a doubt in my mind that's Witch. There's not a doubt in my mind that that's Witch. And yeah, I'm so happy to see you again. And Shiki turns back, crying, Witch. And Witch just says, Lord Demon King, stop it. This is an illusion. And then Witch hugs him. Those silly little human hearts are your weakness. That's the moment where the illusion fades. Witch would never talk about silly little human hearts. Especially being a weakness. But Shiki declares, no, it's because I have a heart, that you won't fool me. And he lands a punch, Witch grabs it, And then whatever disguise he was using fades, revealing Wizard. And Shiki just glares him down, which I can't believe it took me till that exact moment to realize that Wizard was the counterpart to Witch. I may be dumb. I should clarify that. I may be stupid. But yeah, Wizard reveals himself in the guise of Witch. Shiki glares him down. And that's where we leave off. Okay. So let's take a moment again to sort of look back at the heart conversation. And not to really just talk like I'm gonna chat, like I'm reviewing Kingdom Hearts or something, but the whole we don't have a heart, or they have this whole concept of, our heart is our ideals, is sort of what Brigandine says on page 5. But the fact that the group, the human gang, the ones who are so insistent on the ideas that robots have hearts, are now saying that they don't have hearts? I don't know, it sort of brings the question of what exactly are they referring to as a heart, right? Is it a sort of metaphorical, the way you would call someone heartless, right? Not saying they don't actually have a physical heart, but they're like lacking kindness or empathy. Because that seems to be the best way to interpret what they're saying to the Dark Stars. But I don't think it works to say that about the other robots they've met. To say that they, like when they say that the Shining Stars have hearts, it feels like they're talking about something, not a physical beating heart, but also not a metaphorical heart. Like a spiritual heart that's somewhere in the middle of metaphor and metaphorical and physical. I don't know. It's a weird little point there. I'm not quite sure how we as the audience are really supposed to make of that. I don't know. It's still just a little bit confusing to me. But anyway, after that, everyone gets separated for their normal shonen fights. I don't want to sound dismissive of that. I in case you couldn't tell by most of the content on this channel, love me some shonen battle manga. And these look to be the same sort of fun shonen battle, typical shonen battles that Mashima is really, really good at. It's sort of his bread and butter. And so they can all be fun. We don't know enough about really the Dark Star's powers to know exactly how they're going to add up. But on some level, there's a lot of good, with the exception of the clown fight, there's some great pairings in just sort of the Crew of Eden's relationship to various Shining Stars in their Dark Stars match. Weisz has that, long-running friendship with Hermit that really peaked in, Foresta, but has been there throughout, and so he's fighting Hermit's counterpart. Homura, who is trained by Valkyrie, is fighting the counterpart to Valkyrie, which is a great choice. Shiki fighting Witch's counterpart works really well, as Witch was the one who, believed in him and was so, the thing about that is that Witch could have worked really well with either of them, with any of the crew, but I feel like for Shiki it just works a little bit better, fighting Witch's counterpart, especially given Shiki's more emotional ties to all robots. Bringing in the Granbell bots was a really great thing to throw at Shiki there. Rebecca versus Clown feels like it's just there to Rebecca needed someone to fight, so we'll give her Rebecca needed someone to fight, and Clown needed someone to fight, so just stick them together. I don't know, I was really hoping this would be our chance to get Rebecca backstory, because there's just something about Rebecca's story that doesn't quite feel right. The fact that her last name is her planet in the same way Shiki's is implies that she doesn't have a past. So where was she when because we first see her when she's an orphan and she finds Happy, but what happened to her before that? Who are her parents? What exactly is going on with Rebecca? And when I saw the dingy corridor that could have been where Weiss's mom died, I was hopeful we'd get some Rebecca backstory. But I think it's kind of wrong to sort of be upset that things didn't turn out. The manga's going a different route than what I kind of guessed it would. That's not really a real complaint. But it is fair that, like, this is the fight that seems to have the least emotional weight. But, you know, it's just sort of there for Rebecca to fight a weird clown. And sometimes you just want to see someone beat the shit out of a weird clown. So, like, can't fault Mashima there. I'm excited for the other fights, though. Especially, honestly, the Shiki fight the most. Shiki versus Wizard the most. Because it's already tied to these, like, heightened emotions from returning to Granbell. But, you know, Valkyrie and Brigandine could be fun, along with Weisz and Killer. And then we briefly check in on the fight with Crow. Not really a lot of forward progress there, but it's just sort of, you know, they're trying to attack him, but they can't really manage anything. It's you know, good early stage work, and we're excited to see how that fight develops, especially now that Holy has entered the fray with her mech. So we'll see how that all comes in. Again, Holy's just the character who there's just something about her that I feel like, and like not in the sort of abstract way of Rebecca, but like Mashima's clearly teasing something with her. There is a mystery. What does she want? What is her end game? And I'm honestly more excited about whatever Holy's end game is than this fight with Crow. Though also, you know, whatever backstory is there between Holy and Crow, I also want to see, and I imagine that will end up bleeding into Holy's true goals. But that all remains to be seen. We'll see how that plays out going forward. But for now, you know, we moved fully into the phase of the arc where, like, traditional one-on-one fights are happening, along with the Crow stuff, which isn't quite a one-on-one fight. But, you know, I love me some one-on-one fights. They're a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see how all of these play out going forward. So with that said, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, you know, do whatever makes you happy, you know? And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!